Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cinema Activist. I'm your host, John Lyons, and we are lucky to have back Jill Killington. How's it
The
going,
one and
Jill?
only.
The one and only JillKill.com.
Now, that's,
It's all the
when
same.
when you write a little sentence for yourself like Jill Kill as your name, you better get jillkill.com.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's a great name.
I'm
It's a
so
good
close
one.
to being Beetlejuice. Just call your bioexorcist. Hi, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. And I'm in editing for my movie that we'll be discussing a little bit, and it's going really well, and I'm excited.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
So today is going to be all about, yeah, like I was saying, last episode that we met was all about this is your life, Jill Killington. And now this one will be this is your life, Mr. and Mrs. Death. So when did the idea first come to you? When did you decide, yeah, I want to do this, I want to write this? Like what were the kernels of inspiration and the starting point?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like you go way, way, way back to the beginning where it's like I always loved sort of femme fatale. Uh, back in the day, movies were about girls with guns being badasses. I always like that sort of thing, like both the original noir and neo noir thing. And then I also grew up in the era of like natural born killers, like True Romance, Badlands, like love those sort of Bonnie and Clyde modern day lovers on the run, having the time of their lives and better not get in their way kind of movies. I always love that sort of thing. So it's like it goes way back to like childhood, puberty, just like the things that you're interested in movies. And then as we covered in last episode, I was a professional screenwriter and producer for a lot of like book adaptations and movies, and I just sort of learned like all the different things that go into adapting a treasured IP. It was just like, how do I create my own story that I have total control over? Because that was what sucked about like working on these giant projects. It was just like, okay, I work on a Stephen King project. I'm not Stephen King. I don't have final say on anything. Even he doesn't have final say on anything once you sell the rights. I wanted to make a movie that was purely like, after being a co-writer and co-producer, like always being one of the cooks in the kitchen, I wanted to be the chef. I wanted to do something simple enough that I knew I could make it work, and something uniquely mine, something that is was doing something that I don't think movies are doing as much right now, like just
Mm.
like giving a taste of like rebellion, love, sex, like the quest for money, just like like just old fashioned movie making, but brought new and sexy and fun. The origins of this movie are I've always loved movies. I wanted to make something small enough that I could control it and shoot it. So I thought a couple. You know what I mean? It's like a
Hmm.
couple. Let me get two great actors who are like sexy and cool to look at. It's always worked. It's like back to the black and white. Somebody's getting tied to train tracks days and like the beginning of film. That was cool. It's like
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet. That was cool. It's like a couple that's always going to be interesting. And then I was just like, okay, but the other thing to do is I need to have a villain in the piece, or at least major conflict keeping them apart. That's when you have a love triangle. So it's like, okay, I got a guy and a girl, young couple, and they're trying to kill an older man as like their quest for freedom. They're testing the boundaries of what they think is right and wrong. And so that was the initial premise. And I'd wanted to make a movie like that for a long time. I'd written a couple other indie movies that were kind of similar that did just stay the guy and the girl. And that's why I added the third part, because I tried to make
Mm.
a movie with Bella Thorne uh, in 2017. I couldn't get the funding. And I was like, oh, they don't fund movies for young people as much right now. I need like a
Mm.
veteran actor. Because you know what I mean? Like how people would produce all these movies where they'd have like Bruce Willis or somebody in it for one day. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
what if
Yeah.
I can get a really good actor that everybody loves for 5 days, and it's like, can I shoot out something really, really cool with that? Like using my producer skills to make this indie. So yeah, that's how this was hatched. I wrote it summer of 2022. It is currently the year of our Lord 2026. We're recording this on July 15th or June 15th. It was
Yep.
around this time that I did the majority of the writing on this pre-AI rewriting. So this is an actual human grown
Yeah.
screenplay, born and raised,
Rah,
came out of
rah.
my little human fingers, from my brain and into a computer. But yeah.
So how did you, so how'd you get started? Like, how do you like to write? Do you outline?
I'm a huge believer in write everything down all the time. Like I have post-its, I have notes everywhere, I have notebooks
Mhm.
everywhere. I'm a big believer in paper and pen. I think it triggers something different in the brain than typing. I was very you wouldn't tell from how much I'm talking right now, but I used to be a very shy kid who didn't talk much because I got punished a lot in school for it.
Oh,
So I
no.
started writing everything down, and so yeah, I write and write. I write down any idea, but I love note cards. Note cards are my favorite thing because that way you can move your ideas around. It's very easy to restructure. So I start like that. I just write down cool idea where it's like, you know, spoiler alert in my movie, like what if somebody has a gun to their head while they're tied up? Kind of hot, kind of interesting, and that goes on a note card. I'm like, somewhere near the middle. How do we get there? Ooh, the guy is stalking the girl to kill her on the street. Ooh, she almost kills him instead. Wow, cool. So like that's at the beginning of the movie, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, where do I want to go to at the end? They got to go after this guy. Oh, she should be a stripper because that way she meets an older client there that's throwing around his money, always has girls over the house. Perfect, easy target for a young couple just getting started in murder to kill. Great, like that's my ending, and it's like then you just fill it out. There's
Mhm.
something that like David Lynch said, 70 note cards and you're done. That's your movie, And it's just like, it's actually kind of true. Like it's like in this particular movie, I think I had like 71 major scenes or something like that. Take everybody's advice with a grain of salt, but I personally prefer the note card method endorsed by Robert Rodriguez. As I said, the David Lynch likes it. There's so many people that like the note card. I personally never liked the Sid Field, like 3 act
Mhm.
structure. I think that's too limiting. I really am a nonlinear thinker. I really just want every scene I shoot to be like really fucking cool. Every
Mhm.
scene in the movie should be awesome. And
Yeah.
so it's just like I try to figure out how to put as many awesome ideas in as possible because that's also what I did when I was doing book adaptations for movies. So
Okay.
yeah,
Alright.
so it's like how can I on a budget cram in the coolest ideas I can was and is still currently the attempt for Mr. and Mrs. Death because we will be shooting pickups and doing B unit footage still. So I still have the opportunity to shoot more with my two amazing actors, Ben Peter and Lindsay Narmington.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
Yep.
good. Okay, so, yeah, you had some images in mind. You knew the
Tons of
style you
images.
wanted.
Like and again, this is just like the kind of thing I have like sitting around. Like also a
Mhm.
big fan of magazines because holy shit, if you look at old issues of American Cinematographer, they give you the exact like lighting and cameras and everything for my favorite films, and then it's like cool, I can apply this into a LUT now like very
Oh,
easily in our
wow.
color grade and anyway. And then I also have like a lot of behind the scenes stuff like this because again it's very inspiring for marketing. But
Nice.
yeah, I collected some of these while I was making the movie, but I also collected a lot of these things because I'm the person who made this movie.
Yeah. No, that's good. I also appreciate that, when we okay, so when did we start doing the cinema circus
I
meetings
think it
in
was like beginning of 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Alright. So you had already had the script written, or were you still working on, like, tweaking the script or anything when
Oh, the script is still being tweaked every day in post
Okay.
right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I will
yeah,
be
yeah.
releasing several different versions of this movie. I will be doing like short scenes that play differently than the movie that you see in the feature film. Like it's like to me, it's an ever evolving because I independently finance and own the creativity on this entire project.
Yeah,
I can do whatever I want with any image I ever shot or audio I got for this. So it's like and with the support of my crew because it's like I did the thing where I cut in everybody on equity that is like what if we all shared in our future. Yes, that's the way projects should be
that's
made.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
Okay,
again,
yeah,
I because I mostly hired friends and friends of friends. I had very little money, especially for shooting in Los Angeles and Hollywood in 2025 and 2026. So it's like I have to be kind to people and promise them that we're going to work together and make more cool things because I
yeah.
don't have the money to be an asshole like they used to in the 90s.
Yes. Okay, yeah, it's cool. When you said that, like, so that summer when you knocked it out, that was kind of like your first full draft then, is basically what you're
Yes, that's
saying?
that's what I count the beginning of this. It was the first full draft. I wrote it specifically knowing like, okay, it mostly takes place in the old guy that's house they're trying to kill. That's like, the climax of the movie. So that's something I can shoot out like the last 5 or 10 days of production. And then it's like the first 70 pages of the movie is like happening mostly in cars, in beds,
Yep.
and in bedrooms,
Yep.
and in a strip club. So I was like, cool, I know even on the lowest budget, I can make this look cool and have it ready to shoot very fast because it's like, in when I was trying to adapt Interview with the Vampire for Universal, I was like, oh wow, how long will it take for us to prep and develop this? We better start
Mhm.
working with production designers and artists already. And same thing with the stand because it's just like you need a lot of prep. But strip clubs, like, God bless my production designer, Ricardo Orta. He built a strip club in a weekend, basically out of a friend's stage for us,
Oh, man.
with like practically no money, with just like some Amazon, and the whole thing was held together by Butyl, as he said over and over. And I was like, Rico, everything's held together by Butyl. It's like the entire world is just like we're just holding it together as best we can.
Yeah, we're
I'm,
MacGyver
I'm
in it, right?
rambling.
We're MacGyver in it. So you had a script, you kept working on it. So I wanna save some of, like, how you got there for the next episode, like the nuts and bolts of the whole thing. But did you write, it sounds like you wrote very much like, budget conscious, and
Always,
you
yeah.
yeah, and you kept in mind, like, what
And like
resources you
what
have.
would be shootable? Yeah, I didn't know the couple that I would shoot the movie with yet, but I said I just need to find like a real life couple that has chemistry, that loves acting. And it's like I always loved when real life couples played in movies. Like I loved the
Hmm,
movie California with like Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis. I think it
mhm.
adds like such a playful, interesting thing when you have a real chemistry. And so I thought that was a great way to get real chemistry and to really be able to set the tone and do something more fun and experimental than like normal Hollywood stuff, which is like the normal Hollywood way of casting this is like, hey, like what people can we get from this agency? What people can we get interested? Hey, like we have these two clients. They hate each other,
Right.
like they're not sexually attracted to each
Right.
other.
Chemistry,
One of
right?
their
Jeez.
cu- their wife or husband doesn't want them doing this. It's creating like a weird dynamic. It's just like there's so many issues because it's human beings you're dealing with,
Yeah.
with doing anything kind of sexy. And I was just like, let's find a real couple who are actors. And again, I don't know how I did this. I really found like the perfect couple to act in my movie. Plus, which like Lindsay Normington is a real life labor advocate and stripper,
Yeah.
and sex worker. Like she identifies proudly and like is also a writer director, an incredible, like she's a wonderful, wonderful talent, like just a true artist.
So how did
But
you, let me back you up really quick. Did you meet her first? Did you meet him first? How did
I
you
met
meet?
her first. So I tried to cast my lovely friend, who's an amazing actress and super charming and sweet. I had my friend Gabrielle Maiden attached to be Lou for a while, and I was just
Mm,
like, yeah, she was on Stranger Things. She's like beautiful and a pro snowboarder, and I was just like, cool. Like she has the attitude I want. Like I love working with her. Let's see how much training it would take for a pro snowboarder and very athletic, great dancer. Like let's see how much training it would take for her to learn to dance. And I was like, the stripping is not a big deal in this story, like I could write around it, whatever. We took 2 classes together trying to learn pole, and I have never been so sore and depressed
oh, man.
after something. Like it makes you
Yeah.
realize like what a true art form that is. And it's like I really wanted it in the movie because I knew it was cinematic on a low budget. I was like, okay, I can surround a great actress with other dancers who are real, and like that will make it, I'll still get the cinema I want.
Mhm.
uh, then I was helping out on an indie film that I found on Seed and Spark. I just like hit up the director Zach after seeing a Seed and Spark about this movie called It Lives in the Screen, and Lindsay was one of the stars of that. And then so I started like helping out on this movie just because I was curious like how they were shooting in LA with very low budget. And I went to set and just like was like helping out like, oh, you need this or that, like, oh, I'll call somebody, like I
You
basically
stepped
paid for
up.
everybody's parking one day. I don't know. It's like it was like trying to produce, but it was like I don't know. It was interesting. It was like a cool project, but They went in a different direction, I went in a different direction, but through
Gotcha.
that, I met Lindsay,
Okay.
and I saw her on set, and that's the other reason I love to see what actors do on set. I love to see what crew does on set. It's just nice to visit sets sometimes and see like, oh, I like this makeup artist. Oh, I like this cinematographer. Oh, great gaffer. It's just like it's just fun to go visit and meet people. And so I met Lindsay on that set and I was like, wow, she's a great actress, like really brings intensity, really goes for it. And her boyfriend was on set with her and he was just like kind of hanging out and looking grumpy. And I didn't even know that she'd been a dancer or any of this stuff at this point.
Mm.
But so anyway, I see the two of them. I'm like, God, they kind of look like my characters, Lou and Al.
Mm.
I was just like, huh. And I already had wanted her to play the role, and then I found out that she was a dancer. I was like, this is incredible. So I gave Lindsay the script. I was like, oh, do you want to read this? Like one day on set, I was like, I have a role that you might love. And then we had lunch a couple days later, and she's like, I love this. And I was just like, look. And oh, by the way, then she started showing me like that she had her own pet snake.
Oh, yeah,
Like
that's
she had her own
uh-huh.
pet snake and that she had a robot costume. Two things I wrote into the script before I ever met or knew her.
That's
Like I know
crazy.
people are really into manifestation and all that,
Yeah.
but I did something. Like something weird happened where it's like her snake appears in the movie. Her snake's name is Chicken. I paid her a snake wrangler that day because she brought in the snake. This amazing costume was made by another artist. We put this in the movie, and again, these are amazing production values that we
Yeah.
got for like, basically friend deal free because, we I'm Lindsay's a producer on the movie. Like we're collaborating. Like
Nice.
it's like I'm trying to find a new way forward instead of like all right, like let's call everybody and be super upset the snake is being mishandled. It's like, no, this is her pet snake. She's taking good care of it. We only did like two takes. We did very few takes for Chicken. But again,
Mhm.
it's like anyway, I met her, she showed me these things, and then we were also talking about her boyfriend and how she met him in acting class, and she was like, he likes the script too. And I was like, well, this could be amazing. Like this could be like something really cool that like we can just try and do. And but mind you, this is in summer 2024. This is before Honora had come out or won the
Mhm.
Oscar or even the Palme d'Or, right?
Mhm.
But I knew that she'd been in it. I knew that it was going to be a great movie because Sean Baker is a great
Sean
filmmaker, right?
Baker.
So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, like, I knew that like, and also because Lindsay's heart and artistic intent is all in the right place. Like, she's very conscious of who she's working with and what kind of choices she's making. Just a very sovereign woman. But anyway, so I was like, come over to my apartment, let's read through the whole script. And I set up like three phones or like an iPad and a couple phones and recorded a whole thing from three angles as I got just like them reading like the first 70 pages. Like I said, like that's just all them stalking each other, them seducing each other, them negotiating life. And it's like, my movie is very Harold and Maude funny. And
Mhm.
so it's like, it's like their chemistry. And then it's like, the whole thing is like, it's leading up to their like romance and kissing, and they kissed, and I'm just like watching this, and I just started freaking out because I was like, the chemistry is so good. Like my family's Filipino, we have this thing called kilig, where it's like, and actually in the Philippines they call me Jill Killington because it's like, I'm like romantic and cutie there a little bit
Uh-huh.
more than here. Anyway, it's a squee feeling you get when you're excited about something. That's what kilig is, right?
Mm.
So I got that feeling when they kissed. I was just like, because they look so good when they kiss. It was so genuine. And again, they're just holding back. They were actually like sitting right here at my little dining table.
Mm.
And I was just like watching them and I was just like, okay, this is a movie. I know I can shoot this with them. I just need to like get better cameras than these iPhones and better lighting and we will have something. And it's
Yeah.
like, and then even if we shoot like the first 70 pages of the movie and then stop down and wait to get the older actor to do the rest, this will work. I can figure this out. This is a solid plan. And it's obviously wasn't that easy because it took me from like that summer of 2024. I thought we would go into production like January of 2025. But all I had even investors lined up. I had like all this stuff, but then it's like the election happened and then
Mm.
a lot of crypto bros lost money, and then
Mhm.
January the fires happened and all this stuff. But I'd shot these trailers for the movie. I like had a one-day shoot at a Pier Space where we shot all these trailers for the movie that make it look like it's already done and being marketed, and I was using that to create the tone for the feature and to test out crew and see like how low budget we are. It was just like, let's see how much we can shoot in one day in 10 hours. And we shot a lot. We shot like all
Yeah.
these like, you know, as if they'd been arrested, as if they were in bed, as if they're like, we did a lot of like different stuff and it turned out great. And
I
I'm
thought that stuff
super,
was great.
thank you. I mean,
I
again, it was
remember you
like,
posted that on your website. This is yeah, we knew each other at this point and we were like keeping each other updated on projects. And I remember seeing like you shooting this stuff with your cast already. And like you had the style down, right? You had the vibes and the
I
filters.
mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's because I'm literally shooting in LA. I've shot on like $100 million budget shows. For me, the challenge was like, okay, I have like no money to do this comparatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for that day of shooting, that was like I think I spent like 15,000 or something or 20,000. Like I way overspent because I thought like my investors would come in the next day. But again, that's so little money to shoot like a commercial or music video in
Right.
LA.
And then you have a
And
proof of
definitely not at
concept.
the level that I was shooting at. Cause you know, like Lindsay, we actually shot that right before Lindsay became SAG even. So I had like two
Wow.
non-union actors. I could do everything non-union in a peer space here in LA. But it's like, you know, for me to have done that on any of these union shows I did or like big TV shows and movies, it's just like, no, like it would have been so expensive. So part of the lesson was me just like, okay, how do I shoot as if I'm a young YouTuber that's like never done all the stuff that I've done? Like, how do I get crews to show up for like 250 a day, you know? And
Yep.
it's like you realize like, oh, DPs will charge way more than that because they're getting their rentals. So it's just like I had to learn a lot about like just how the indie stuff goes. That's why I was going to a lot of like anybody who was shooting something during the strikes. I would come to set because I was curious how they were pulling that off, how they were
Mhm.
not permitting or not permitting, paying or not paying. Like I saw a
Mhm.
lot of people doing just like basically shooting parties where it's like, hey, like everybody's here for free. Or in the case of my movie, it was like, okay, I'm going to pay you, but as little as I possibly can
Yeah.
without like, you know, because it really was like, oh my God, like after all that happened, I swear we're going to make the movie. And then it's like, LA's burning in January. I just spent all that money shooting this and didn't have any idea when we'd actually make our movie or when I get a job again. And all this health stuff was happening to my dad. And it was just like, oh my God, I'm running out of cash. And I gave all this money to my crew and it was crazy. But yeah.
Phew.
Anyway, self-financing is not for the faint of heart, is all I'm saying.
Right. Well, okay. So, couple things. So, it was a 1 day shoot. Did you storyboard it? Was it just vibes? Like,
No, I'll send you the links. I made Notion boards of like all the
okay.
influences, all the looks. I didn't draw as much because it wasn't really most of it wasn't being shot for continuity. It was like very scripted out because I'd also worked in like commercials and done trailers. Like I have a Jill of all trades, a lot of experience in doing different things. But yeah, I basically knew all the kind of shots we wanted to get, and then just like we got like I don't know, I think it was like 58 setups in one day. Like my DP
Holy shit.
for that. Yeah, my DP for that, Michael Greenberg. I chose him specifically because he was very fast. I'd seen him work quickly
Mhm.
on that very location on the other movie that Lindsay was in. Or no, no,
Okay.
sorry, that was a music video. That somebody shot a music video there. So that's the thing,
Okay.
really. I would go if somebody was shooting a music video and I had nothing else going on. I'd be like, hey, let me check this place out, and I'd be like, okay, I could use this peer space. Like this would be a perfect interrogation room. This bedroom could be the rich guy's bedroom. And so I basically structured things around that. So for me, using what I have access to and then somehow writing things that show up in front of me. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like
damn.
it's like a mix.
That's really impressive, especially in LA. So, like, we Unearth started as a Kickstarter and we raised 15,000 and we ended up using that to do like a 6-minute proof of concept. So you did it as like, yeah, you shot basically trailers, right? How many did
Yeah, I
you
made
get
a
out of
series
that?
of commercial. I'm sorry.
How many like videos or trailers or whatever
I
did
mean,
you
it's
get
hard
out
to
of that?
say. I made like
Yeah.
I think it was six distinct ones. And then I think on my site right now, I have only like the last four or five of them up because, you know, I tested out various scenes to see like, okay, do I like the scene? Like there's a couple I end up like chucking and rewriting or putting in different places because of what we did on set. It was a great like dress rehearsal
For
basically
sure.
with a crew was like basically the way we did it. Um but yeah, I made a whole series of ads. Like I think it was like 6 or 7. Like my friend Steve, who was a great trailer editor, who was out of work during that time, but now he works for a very successful YouTuber and has bought a house with it. But
Nice,
anyway,
nice.
uh, he helped and edited those at the time because he was bored. So it's like I have, because I'm always ready, running around with like, "Hey, guess what Jill's up to? She's making this movie. You want to help? Want to support?" Like people will be like, "Oh, yeah, I'll edit some stuff." I'm like, "Here's a hard drive." Like seconds later, or it's like, "Here's access to the
I'm
Premiere
ready,
files
locked
and
and
the
loaded.
Frame IO." You got it, because especially when people are offering editing help, it's like
Yeah,
I'll onboard them so quickly, because it's like editing takes time, and it's like the one thing it just really, you need focus, and it's like crew you have to pay one way because they got to be there on time, and you've got them for like 10 to 12 hours, but it's like editing, it's just like,
yeah,
oh, like I know how much I personally can get done as an editor in a day, but some scenes are harder to cut than others. Sometimes you have a technical difficulty, like it's just like, it's editing is really the art form of
yeah,
filmmaking for me. So
yeah, for sure. It's so important. Okay, so I mean, I know you had so much going on in your personal life at that same time, and it had
yep.
to have felt like, yeah, looking back on it, probably it was so overwhelming probably in the moment. But there's like some really good tips here of like, if people are available and you have the opportunity and the stars align, right? It's like you took a solid day, you got your people there, because when you're approaching investors and things like that, right? Like it's hard for
You
them.
have to have something now.
Yeah,
Like
you have to
people,
show 'em something.
I was raised like, hey, you write a script and you hand them this little stack of paper, and if you're a good writer, they'll love it. And it's like, that's
Those
never how it worked,
those
as far as
days
I'm
are gone if
concerned.
they were ever existing, right?
I mean, like that's why people needed agents, because you need somebody to convince you to even open this file or this piece of paper. And then it's like, as the industry has been changing and changing, and now everybody's just on phones and everything's a screen. So it's, screenwriter doesn't have the same
Mm.
meaning as it used to have. Um, yeah, you just got to catch people where they are. So it's like, for me, I fake it while I make it,
Hmm.
and I'm always making it. You know what I mean? It's like every single one of these, like I had my friend Jason Savvy make posters with me for the movie using key art photo shoots that we did on set. It's like, here's the key art. This is something we shot on set, because when we were on set shooting those 8 trailers I talked about, I also had my friend Sean Garrison come and be the set photographer, so we could get key art like this. And like literally, when Ben and Lindsay were rehearsing at this table, Ben put his hands up like this for a second during the rehearsal, and I was like, wait, stay like that. I was like, okay, let me take a picture with my phone. This is a poster. Okay, this is going to be like our poster for the movie. So it's like, it's nobody loves and hates this movie more than me. You know what I mean? It's like I have to make myself love every second of doing it and then watching it, because I watch it over and over and over. And it's like I've had this idea in my head of how great it can be. The edit can actually be even better than that, between how great my actors and crew is, and then all the wonderful artists I collaborated with, and then the magic of AI even. It's like
Yep.
there's so many ways to constantly be improving an idea. So yeah, I think it's all worth every idea. Write it down. Like, think about what you really want. Figure out how to achieve it. That's the tips with everything, as well as movie making.
Meet Al. He fantasizes about murdering beautiful women and anyone who gets in his way. Meet Louise. She dreams of big money and bloody revenge. They call themselves Mr. and Mrs. Death. And they're coming for you.
They sort of reflect what the movie was going to be, but that all changed when we made the feature,
Sure.
because I had a different cinematographer, the wonderful Rayana Rasame. And then I also actually managed to cast our Harry, who I kind of had like a guy, and one of our friends, Slater, in a cowboy hat pretending to be Harry in the trailers. But it's like, you know
Mm.
what I mean? Like, it's like at some point something looks great to you, and then later on you're like, okay, that's cheesy, I'm taking that off the site. But it served its purpose.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it would I mean, whatever you're okay with showing. Maybe
Always. No, I mean, I think it's good to share work and progress, and just really, like, you invited me to talk about this stuff, and clearly I love my movie, so I'll talk about it.
all good. Well, then we'll pop at least one of those in here, and you can
Yep.
see some other materials at Jill Kill, right?
JillKill.com.
Yep.
Go to Coming Soon, Mr. and Mrs. Death.
Okay. Let's fast forward. We're going to fast forward over raising money, and let's get to like when you start shooting. I mean, you can allude to some of the challenges, but I do want to save those for the next part.
I was very conscious of where it's like, okay, how much it costs to shoot per day with a feature is the trouble. Like, it's like
Yeah.
I knew that the bedroom scenes, if we had to, we could go so minimal on the crew. You know what I mean? Like we go extra minimal because you don't want a whole bunch of people in a bedroom when you're shooting.
No.
These people are supposed to be the only people in the world and really getting to know each other. I can't afford a big set that looks realistic in a movie. And then I just also think it's more practical to shoot, very small crew at that time. Anyhow, we got a Panavision grant, and that was one of the main like, wow, we've got to go. It's like my actors are free, my DP is free,
Hmm.
and we have this Panavision grant that we need to use soon. So, which we were able to get because I was a first time director, even though I'm very experienced as a writer producer. This is my first feature, and I'm not DGA. So that's the other way
How
we were
long
able to
did you
go
have to
with.
wait before you found out about that grant? Like how far ahead of time did?
Oh, we got it very, very quickly
Oh,
because
cool.
Rihanna arranged that. So
Cool.
once we had that, it was like, okay, we're going into production. And we missed the mark to shoot all in November. Like we weren't ready until December 2nd through like 18th, and then picked up again like January 12th, I think it was, or something.
Okay.
So
So how many total days did you shoot?
20 days
Okay.
total.
20 days. Yeah, yeah. And it was split for the holiday. Okay.
Yeah, that's all it
Understood.
really was.
Got
Like
it.
we didn't even turn in the gear,
And how is
because
it? Did you shoot in like LA? Where did you shoot?
yes, we shot in Alhambra, which is in Los Angeles, I guess technically, but it's like just east enough that it has its own separate permitting for filmmaking. So we shot without permits, but then started to get caught because we really were like driving in the street with car rigs. People were screaming and waving fake guns, and the neighbors started complaining. So at that point, it was just like, okay. But again, we're very smart about like, we're shooting that outside stuff last because like
Yeah.
we don't want to get caught early. But so we shot mostly at one of our producers, Adam Stillwell's house in Alhambra. And then we shot out that entire location, did a lot of exterior shooting during that, did a minor shoot in a vintage store owned by my friend Cassidy called Catnip Vintage 2.
Cool.
Which is now closed, but we were I think the first and only movie that ever shot
Oh,
there.
wow.
And then so that was a hard load in day. But then we moved to a strip club that we built in a friend's studio space in Hollywood that we called Titty Walk because it's right across from City Walk, Universal City Walk. But that's
Nice.
the kind of humor you get from Jill Killington. More Titty Walk, yeah.
Nice.
But so because otherwise because we were thinking of shooting in real strip clubs, was very expensive to shoot in real strip clubs, and the one that's the best for shooting in LA only lets you shoot from 5 a.m. to noon. So it's like
Uh-huh.
every day we would have to completely load out, disappear everything, every single piece of equipment, and then bring it back in. So it was just like a no-go. So
Yeah.
we ended up building in a friend's studio space.
Incredible.
And then, but that ended up like, oh, now we're a real movie because we had just enough space for our crew of like about 30 people. And we had like a real parking lot. We are shooting in the parking lot. We had a couple bathrooms. We had like, real kitchen facilities. And it was just like in the middle of Hollywood. This is great. Versus in Alhambra, we just had like weird problems from shooting in a house. Like at some point, like all the Wi-Fi goes out because too many people are on the Wi-Fi. It just weird, like it starts interfering with the signal between people's camera equipment and sound
Mm,
equipment. We just had like all these issues. But once we were in Hollywood at the studio, even though it's very small and basically just a small office space, we were dialed in there. And then the last of our shoot, we did at a house in Encino that was owned all through the producers. We got another deal from a friend of a friend, and then we tried to permit for that, but there was absolutely no way we could afford to permit. Like
that's
we would
the
have,
big guy's house.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think I can talk about how I think, did I talk about last time about how Mr. Ray Wise is the one they end up trying to kill in the movie?
Yeah, I think you teased it. I
I think
think
I teased. I
so
should
your
be more
crew
entertaining.
was like 30. You're thinking like around 30?
Uh, a little bit less than that a lot of
Okay.
days, but like it was hovering around like 20-ish,
Okay.
22-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um okay, and how many locations did you have? I'm trying to remember.
For this movie, I mean, we had a lot of like driving, like that's particularly like
Yeah.
what some of the expenses of this movie are.
How did
But at
you
the same
handle
time,
the driving stuff?
oh, that's a little bit of a problem, but we bought an old Buick because that's what I rode into the movie. And so that's like the hero car because just even to like borrow or rent it, like we needed it to be banged up. We needed it to be like, someplace they live in basically, like where so many of the scenes are them driving around and talking. It's like an old-fashioned it's that's how romance kind of is, like you get to know somebody in a car. So the driving we mostly handled realistically. Uh, our lead, Ben Peter, does most of the driving in the movie, and he's non-union, so he was able to drive for himself. And then again, luckily, subconsciously, I must have known in my head, like, oh yeah, like I can't have my actor doing dialogue while driving a real car. But he
Huh.
doesn't have dialogue because he's got a gun to his head a lot of the time in these particular scenes. So we shot those realistically with like a lot of camera, either hostess mount or camera in backseat or even hood mount a couple times, but really driving with a hood mount with the big area Lexus that we got thanks to Panavision's grant.
Mhm.
It's not recommended, it's a little dangerous. Like we might have done better with like Osmos or something like that, or even just like a smaller FX camera. But anyway, yeah, we handle the driving realistically, but we're also doing standard B unit work and then also going to be shooting more pickups on volume. And then we did a lot of poor man's process too.
Okay,
Like,
got you.
yeah. I
And
mean,
you have,
it's a mix of every trick in the book.
if I remember, you have a lot of night scenes, right?
That's the thing. It's like I wrote it at night because again, it's like, a dark noir killer
Yeah.
movie that's fun, but that's also funny, but it's also easier to blend places and times and everything else at night. And night's a little scary and sexy, so it takes place at night. But that
Yeah.
helps us as far as like our locations because it's like woods all kind of looks the same mostly if you just light it just right and have the right kind of branches, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, so you're in LA. You're mostly without permits until you start getting in trouble. How
We
does
just
that
paid tickets then.
you just get tickets?
Yeah, and those actually ended up being cheaper than the permit.
No shit.
So, yeah, little tip for you. But that was again in City of Alhambra, really nice place to shoot.
What location were you in the most? Like at the club? I'm trying to remember from the script.
It's at the club quite a bit, but it's
Mhm.
mostly at Al's house.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a bedroom movie. It's like it's in his bedroom, we're in her bedroom. And so both of their rooms, we just dressed in Adam Stillwell's producer house that we were shooting in and also using as our production hub. Um, and like I said, a lot of it's cars, exterior. So at the strip club, we did most of the car stuff there, like poor man's process and driving around there. And, their meet cute, trying to kill each other confrontation happens like in alleys over there.
Mhm. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna have an intimate vibe because you do
Because I
spend
could
some time.
afford intimacy. Like that's a thing, literally. It's like, what is missing from movies right now? Sex, anything reflecting realism of like how people actually interact, what they actually need. And it's like I wanted to make a movie about people navigating the strangeness of attraction in a relationship while trying to make money and figure out the meaning of life and like what we're supposed to do with it and finding a sense of purpose and getting through existential dread. It's just like I am very jillkill.com, but I'm also trying to
Mhm.
like
No, yeah.
make a movie that's about something because it's just like this is my chance to make the movie I've always wanted to make and see. So here it is.
What were
I
like
better like it.
what were your main comps that you would reference for
Oh,
stuff when you're approaching people?
um, you got to look at them and see what they like. It's like when I'm
Yeah.
talking to an older investor, have you ever seen Indecent Proposal? This is very much like Robert Redford and Demi Moore, like, kind of movie. Like, that's what I would sell it on. To young people, I would say, like, oh man, like, Luigi Mangione, like how everybody like kind of likes a hot killer who's like, let's debate what he's trying to do here and the intent of him. When that all happened, I'd already shot with Ben, and I was like, see, killers can be hot. Hot. It's a
Uh-huh.
weird thing, It's like we all admire a killer in the boardroom and not in the bedroom. But again, it's like there's all these I wanted to make a movie about the dark and the light of life.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely got all of those vibes. For some reason, I was thinking like True Romance too.
Oh, absolutely. True Romance is definitely a reference. Absolutely. Like that's my easiest reference. But more, I feel like it's like a fucked up version of Before Sunrise a lot of the
Oh
time.
man, I love
I
that.
feel like, yeah, and then it's also like Harold and Maude is one of my favorite movies ever, and it's like
Yeah,
a lot
same.
of Harold and Maude influence, but really for me, like I love Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. I love Badlands. I love like the simplicity and naturalism of just like capturing really interesting actors feeling it out on camera. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So if people haven't put it together yet, what's like the overall synopsis of the
Oh,
film? I should ask you that like 20 minutes
I'm
ago.
sure I'm sure I've said it over and over, but basically a guy and a girl meet under unusual circumstances where he's trying to kill her. She manages to almost kill him back. They find something in common in that way, and they decide to go on a spree together and plan to kill a rich older gentleman and steal his fortune. But along the way, they find the true meaning of life. The value of human life is what this is actually all about.
Let's talk about like where you are now in kind of in the timeline of post. Okay, so you wrapped up filming in January
I
of
wrapped up filming in early January and thought I would be done editing like my first cuts of the movie, like very early cuts. I thought I would be done by the beginning of March. And that is hilarious to me now because it's like I'm used to working on TV shows and movies where it's like dedicated post team at your service. I'd have 5 editors working. I'd have like, AEs, like post supervisor. Oh, like let's get all our deliverables in order. La 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 la. I basically put all my money into production. Like that's the way we budgeted it out. We paid everybody so little money to shoot, but like it's so hard. I was able to do that because I was shooting around Christmas and New Year's, but then everybody started going back to work a lot and like, late January, early February. A lot of the editors that I had contributing help and AEs contributing help because I really just did not have money or somebody to do full-time editing for me. Um, we had a lot of issues pulling in all the footage and getting it together and getting it
Mm,
all up and running because we were always editing remotely. My main editor was in North Carolina, and then he had to drop out because his main job was going so well and he was working so much. And I honestly can't compete with those kind of financial rates.
yeah,
And editing is a months long proposition. So it's like, I don't hold any ill will. He had to survive.
yeah.
So I had to find other editors while editing most of the movie myself. So as well as like keep on hiring AEs. Luckily, my EP was also is a post and VFX genius, so he managed to keep it all under the umbrella and help me set up the job to get it all edited. And then I also found a great AE remotely via LinkedIn and the George Romero Foundation. This wonderful editor, LB Lisa Bradley. She hit me up on randomly on LinkedIn. I was like, "Can
Oh,
you
cool.
AE this?" Yeah, it's like again, be open to the universe and however you find these things. So yeah, she was incredibly helpful. She got me through January, February where I did not know what to do because I just really could not afford any of my LA editor friends because it's like, I'm basically trying to pay what people make in a week or a day editing in Los
Yeah.
Angeles for a whole feature. And it's just like, I kept on talking to all our producer friends. They're like, at this budget level, you are the editor. And I was swamped. I was so exhausted from shooting. I'd been through basically I funded this like in a very after going through a lot of family saga and it's
Yeah.
like all that came crashing down on me by like end of January, February, and I just like crashed out and slept for a month, Then I started editing. Then I started looking for help, found a wonderful editor, Dana Gasparin, who's like taken over editing now, but she edits on amazing shows like For All Mankind
Oh,
and
wow.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds,
Huh.
has a very, very great TV and film background for editing, like love her talent, but she was booked longer than she thought. And so she's only really able to like focus on the job and edit now. So it's like I gave her most of my rough cuts. I've rough cut like about half the movie now or more. And then we have assemblies for everything else. And so now we're really focusing in on editing now and should have a rough cut of the movie and plan to be like picture locked like end of July, early August. Again, it's like I hope that all works. But yeah, normally post would go a lot faster for me, but I just didn't have the financing for it.
Yeah, I get that
Next time,
100%.
baby. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
really. Did you edit your own movie or what did you do with
We
yours?
ended up having to because we ran out of essentially enough money to hire somebody
It's what
full time.
happens, and it's like, again, I knew I was like, "I'll figure it out in post," unfortunately, as everybody says, but it really is, like, real that you can and you will, and so it's like, it's okay that it's taking this extra time,
Yeah.
um, only it'll work out, but it's just like, I can't be so worried about how much time this takes because, again, there isn't a I don't have a premiere date yet, It's
Right.
like I'm still getting more people interested. So thank you for talking to me through all this because I like
Right.
having like indie film support group like this.
Yeah. No, it's important because, yeah, like, man, we were in the same situation. So Dorota and I, we were like, no, we are not editing our own movie. This is going to make it better. We're going to get an editor, blah, 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 blah. And then production went a little over budget. Well, it went a bunch over budget for us, and that delayed us. And then yeah, we had a one person that was attached, but they were like kind of way out of our league, and they're like, you're gonna need a lot more time on this than I can give you. They recommended someone, and it just wasn't feeling right. And but it was like you said, you finish production and you're like worn out, and you don't want to fucking think about editing your your feature
I
film
mean,
at that
every
point.
day I would try to, but I was just
Yeah,
like, I was so like, it was like adrenal fatigue. Like I'd been on such a high key fight or flight mode for so long
yeah,
because I had to do so much stuff to get the movie made. And it was just like literally LA was burning and my finances were all screwed up. And so it was just like, oof.
in
So I
life.
just, yeah, it's just life.
Yeah,
Like filmmaking is a different layer of life,
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome that yeah, and then it really is coming down to like you don't have to rush it, right? Like you don't have a TV deadline, you don't have a
That's the
theatrical
thing. It's
premiere
like
date.
I'm not even like beholden to investors because I did end up self-financing this in the craziest way. Um, it's just like I'm beholden to credit cards, but we all are. Welcome to America.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it's just like it's I'm taking the time to do this in post and like really enjoying it now because I love my editors. I love my post team. Like we know we're doing something great. We're all aligned, and it really is nice to not have a network that doesn't understand or is trying to fit this into something. It's just like we're figuring out what this is together. And I'm just very excited to get to the point where I can start to screen this internally for like the crew and the other producers and then start like slowly like, okay, I think let's figure out how we want to release this. Do we want to put like little teaser shorts out? Do we want to like, start showing this in sales directly? Like I'm in a
Mm.
weird position because it's like I'm talking to you as an indie filmmaker, but it's like I am literally sitting in Hollywood and everybody is just like so shocked by like Backrooms and Obsession coming through
Mhm.
and they're like, where do these YouTubers come from? I'm just like, you
Right.
guys have gotta like look up from your screens sometimes and see what's going on in the world because this has been the situation for a while that people who have the freedom to go shoot what they want aren't waiting for permission or funding the way that we are in LA. It's like
Yeah.
I clued into this like 10 years ago and I was just
Mm.
like, I'd rather try it like your way where it's like, let me raise the funds for something I want to make than like the way I'd been doing it as a Hollywood professional where it's just like, I'm going to send out all these scripts and golly, I hope somebody likes it and thinks that I'm worth investing in. It's just like, you've got to really show people what you want to do.
Well,
Like,
that's
and
because that's
whoever
how
can
we've
do
been.
that.
That's how we've
and
been
build an
told,
audience.
right? That's how the
Yeah.
gatekeeping has been, like, you have to do it this way, you have to go to these schools, you have to know these people, you have to pay your dues, you but, like, the YouTubers, they grew their own audience is where it's at, right? People are like
Well, it's like it's multi-level, you know? It's like, to me, I'm for me, the first audience of this is the people I'm making it with. I never used to be this kumbaya about filmmaking, but after doing some of, like, my favorite adapting my favorite books and having it be like such a weird business experience, so transactional, I was just like, there's got to be a way to mesh
Mm,
the art with the art of living, like we have to
yeah,
enjoy our lives. It's
yeah.
happening, and it's just
Yeah,
like
you
when
had
I've
been
looked
on
up
the
from
other side.
production.
You had done
Well, I'm
things
just
properly. Yeah.
it's just, like during the strikes, it was just like, guys, like I didn't think the way that we were making movies and TV was so fun anyway, like it's like everybody's just like pushing out all these streaming shows and it's like all like kind of mush with no real voice because everybody's avoiding saying something. It's like I wanted to make something that is unique, like you can tell that it hasn't been tampered with and smoothed down till it's nothing, like it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to have a sharpness to it. So
Yeah, for sure. I remember reading the script and, like, the character and, like, the vibes and stuff came through right away and, like, the sexiness of it and, like, the action.
but again, thank you for liking that, but it's like a lot of people in Hollywood are like, why your hero is like an incel wannabe serial killer, and it's just like, I'm sorry, but we all hate people a little bit in our hearts. You know what I mean? And like movies are a fantasy machine. You know what I mean? It's like this is the way we get our vicarious thrills out. Like, are we all gangsters and mobsters? No.
Right.
But in some ways we share traits. And so this is like a thought experiment because this is a fun art project. You know what I mean? It's like people are so risk averse
Yeah.
that it's like, yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Death, ooh, it's creepy. But it's like, but you remembered it, didn't you? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
You know what? Your characters, like, they're modern characters. Like, they're people that are living in capitalist America right
that's
now
it.
and trying to survive with everything with the rug pulled out from under them. Like, that's the world that we live in right now. Like, your 2
That's it.
leads are, like, they are America, whether we wanna admit it or not. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's like we all are kind of, who do you want to dance for and how much money can you make out of that dance is kind of the thing.
yep.
Or can you be a killer and figure out a different way of operating? It's just like I shoved a lot of ideas and feelings and dance scenes and fantasies into this movie
Yeah.
because again, it's like this is what else am I doing with my life? You know?
No, it's a good commentary on, like, gender dynamics and hustle culture. Like, I I I mean, I can't wait to see it. I, like,
Thank
enjoyed
you, because
reading
I'm
it
again,
and
I'm enjoying editing it. Like I was giggling with my editor on Saturday as we were editing together, and it just like I enjoy my scenes. And then there's other times where I'm like, my own movie makes me blush a little bit. This is like,
Alright.
I'm telling you, man, we got some sexy stuff happening in it. So I want I love horror movies. You know this about me. But I want to deliver as many feelings as I can to an audience and therefore entice them to go to the movies or to watch the movies at home
Mm.
and keep coming back and coming over and over and over.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so keep on coming back for more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, how about music? What are you thinking of for music, or do you
Oh,
already have
there's so
music?
many musical plans. As you know, I wrote in, a lot of bands I like, and have a soundtrack to the movie in mind, and I'm negotiating and like working on getting those rights.
Cool.
I've got composers that we're talking to that are like contributing. We're doing a lot of temp music. Basically, this is going to be a very music heavy movie, and
Yeah.
so once we picture lock, then we're going to start going to musicians and working to get rights to songs and seeing how many needle drops we can get, and then yeah, we'll finalize like who's our composer and all that. So it's exciting times, but it's just steps and steps. So it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess by September we'll definitely be in music land, where
Okay.
it's like, okay, we'll start finalizing the score. But yeah, I have like Spotify and YouTube playlists forever, and like my actors made their own Spotify playlist for the movie. Like we all want this movie to have a lot of just memorable things about it, and we love and remember and feel something with music. And because there's so much dancing,
Yeah.
it's tripping. It's like we need music.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, if you have any contacts with great musicians, send them my way.
Okay, so before we wrap this episode, let's tease a little bit about what we'll talk about in the next episode. So we kind of glossed over purposefully the development hell and the fundraising part of all of this, and that's, if it's okay with you, that's what I want to dive headfirst into next
Sure,
time.
sure, sure. Again, it's like I don't know how many tips I have for people other than like, get creative with credit cards and somehow you'll figure out like when you start asking for money, it'll show up somehow. It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
If
but
the intent is right, perhaps.
yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for coming back, and thank you for
Thank
talking
you.
about
Thank you
Mr.
for
and Mrs.
inviting me.
K.
I'm happy that our friendship can now be extended into a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Until we finally meet in real life.
In real life, eventually.
Which, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank
Awesome.
you. We'll be back in a couple weeks with part 3 with Jill, and we'll
Yay.
jump into the nuts and bolts, and then we'll
Thank you,
see
Chuck.
where we go from there.